Restoration is brought to you by
Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Yes, extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
We got yes protection.
Tasty Tom new seasoning powder. Flavor and taste up.
It is a privilege to come your way again, and thank you for always sticking with us here on Restoration with Stace. We are brought to you by Kind Courtesy, Malta Guinness, Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix, Tasty Tom Seasoning, and of course, my longest partner, Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people, Yas Washing Powder and Yas Sanitary Pad, Hooch Corn and Choco Flakes, your crunches breakfast choice. A big thank you to La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, Teflon Suites located in Ahojo, Kumasi. And of course, to my glam team, ABS Lux Line located on the Doko Highway for my outfit, GH Beauty Artistry for my guest makeup, and of course, my makeup is by Tinaj Beauty. And I want to say a very big thank you to Hair Duties for my hair. We'll be right back after this break.
Ope Phrygia, Jody Besham via Papa Hobine, Nelson and Chew in Namkania. And how and no one Hisense. Hisense, na high energy efficiency standard for anyone sa chassis. And no stress, a coolie pa. And saying in Amkania, na banefeswa, we did there. Every single door F. Side by side, I must so any cross door na. Hisense will Phrygia send a fatawo. Me change you here at the mount. Say your vegetables, or drinks, one nam, the way Diamonacano. Hisense long-lasting cooling, and mania fresh and bribia. A 28 April, a copy 8 May, and a Hisense refrigerator promo. So Hisense fridge, never fear your gum. Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Hisense fridge, mo, very stylish.
Tasty Tom tomato mix. Ofa kakra. Na ye bebre. Fa kakra yan kwan stew dodoa ope.
Tasty Tom dear. It will surely give you value for money. Steak and little is enough to get our desired quantity of stew and soup, and it doesn't color your meat or chicken.
Tasty Tom tomato mix inti. Me handwriting and sada. Sena ne dene bia sa net into customers bar never.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix.
This advert is FDA approved.
Remember the days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month? Yas extra long sanitary pad took the worry away. Easy.
Yes, comfort. I got yes, confidence. I got yes.
The new Yas extra long sanitary pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow.
Yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi, is it supposed to be that time of the month?
Yes. I got yes, confidence. I got
Yes.
we got yes, protection. I got
Yas extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
we got yes, protection.
Every child is so unique.
You like no other.
Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play,
You like no other.
you are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. It's you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every child is so unique.
You like no other.
Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play,
You like no other.
you are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented.
has their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook, I can paint. You like no other. Indomie, you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Yes, baby.
Honey, men wash your way. Men to take away our back.
He's eating out again. Nancy, me trying tasting kuyi.
Tasty
Tom. Add the new seasoning powders about chicken, stew, jollof, shrimp, beef. The way it enhances the natural aroma.
Tasty Tom, dear.
I trust them. And there is no staining of fish, meat, or chicken. Wait, let me go just sharp. Me need also.
Tasty Tom seasoning powder. Ooh.
New aroma.
New taste.
New taste from Tasty Tom new seasoning powder. Maybe I'm not for anyway. Tasty Tom new seasoning powder. Flavor and taste are fun. This advert is FDA approved.
Tasty Tom tomato mix. Ofa kakra. Na ye bebre. Fa kakra yan kwani stew dodo a ope.
Tasty Tom dear, it will surely give you value for money. Steak and little is enough to get our desired quantity of stew and soup, and it doesn't color your meat or chicken.
Tasty Tom tomato mix in tea. Me handwriting and sada. Sena ne dene dia sa netie. Into customers bar never.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix. This advert is FDA approved.
It is time for everyone to make that move on deciding what is best to be in your system. And I'm talking about my Malta Guinness. Yes. And I always tell you that you don't have to drink anything. If you are thirsty, if you're looking at taking in something, make sure it is something that is filled with lots of nutrients that is beneficial to you, and not something that you're going to drink and you'd have to spend your whole savings or your lifetime of savings to rectify that situation. That is why I always encourage you to go out and grab yourself Malta Guinness, because Malta Guinness is rich in B vitamins. And you know what? It's made in Ghana. Anything about promoting Ghana, yes, I'm in for it. This is proudly made in Ghana. So anytime you go out to buy your Malta Guinness, always look out for the logo that says proudly made in Ghana and grab it, because it is actually the best way to go and the best move you can make for your life. And the good thing is, yes, we're also thinking about how best to keep this world a safe place. So these bottles can be recycled, which means that we are adding our voice and our action towards the world becoming a safe place. So go out there and grab yourself a cool Malta Guinness, and you will thank me later. Very big thank you to Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix. And yes, Jewusika promo is still on. All you have to do is get the can one. Yes, make a any sachet. And once you take off the lid, whatever amount is beneath it is yours. It's that easy. This is not a lot of hassle. So go out there and grab your Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix, and make sure that when you get that lucky figure or lucky figures, you go to the nearest distribution point to redeem your prize. So please go out there and grab yourself your Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix. And you know what? When your jollof is ready, do well to call me. Instead of taking my 10% for giving you this filler, I'll just eat your Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix jollof. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And well, we're back on conversations. In the beginning, I was talking to you about how it is essential to pay a lot of attention to what goes into your stomach, because our body is a temple, and whatever you put in here matters a lot. Maybe today it might seem as nothing, but tomorrow it could be causing you a lot of havoc. So today I'm here to have a conversation with a sweetheart of mine. We're going to talk about healthy lifestyles and how we can live long and remain healthy. Because there are times you meet people, they tell you, I'm 60, I'm 70, I'm 80. You're like, wow. It's because these people decided to keep a healthy lifestyle religiously throughout some point in their lives till the time you met them. And I believe we can all do that. That is why I've called my dear sister and friend today to come and share her knowledge on healthy living with us. My guest today is my very own Eunice. Eunice, how are you?
I'm great, Stacey.
It's been ages, almost 3 decades,
Yes.
right? Well,
Yes.
and we still look the same.
Yes.
How have you been?
Great, Stacey, great. Life has been interesting, adventurous.
I like that. Adventurous, yes. Once you meet it, you grab it, you jump the hurdles, you swim the lagoons, the lakes, and the rivers, and you realize that you're just doing fine. So let's talk about healthy lifestyles, healthy living. We all want to be healthy. But trust me, the things to do to be healthy is mostly problematic. What is healthy lifestyle, healthy living?
Well, maybe a short definition I can give it is living in such a way that for you, for your body, for your emotion, for your mental state, you are an optimal human being. Health means different things for different people because we're different. And so I can't specifically say that this person is healthy just by looking at them. Neither can I prescribe, specific things that if you're doing and if you're not doing, you are healthy or not healthy. It would be wrong to judge anyone in that manner because what health means to one person is different to another person. And so you need to figure out for you, what is your healthy? And so, for example, if it comes to, let's say, food, you know what, when you eat, you don't feel good. And that same food may make someone else feel great. And so if it's fufu and fufu makes you throw up,
don't say
fufu is not healthy for you.
Fufu is good for me.
But if fufu makes someone thrive, then fufu may be healthy for the person. And so what do you do that makes you optimal as a human being? That's your healthy. So you need to define what health is for you. That's how I put it.
For someone like you who is a healthy living coach, there are people who don't really know what their healthy is. They just go by the mood, go by whatever they meet. How will you engage such a person to find out, no, this is where the problem is? No, I think you should drop this lifestyle and replace it with this one.
Okay. So in my work, I generally focus on lifestyle diseases. In Ghana, those that are most common would be things like diabetes, hypertension, obesity, erectile dysfunction. Yes.
It also can come from unhealthy lifestyles.
Erectile dysfunction is actually one of the earliest signs of lifestyle disease in men.
Oh, okay.
So what do I do? Largely, people would contact me when they already know that they are not feeling well.
Or when they are gone.
Often. I sometimes would have people come to me on preventive, under preventive circumstances, which are the best. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen often.
Okay.
Most people would come to me when a doctor has said, I'm unwell, or where they generally are feeling unwell, when they're hearing their body saying, I'm not feeling good. And so I, as a health coach, I'm not a medical doctor. So I don't diagnose. Maybe at this stage I should do the distinction. When you're not feeling well, you go to see a doctor. A doctor would ask for diagnosis to be done. You would run tests. And then the doctor will tell you, oh, you have this, this or that. Okay. And then the doctor would say, okay, these are the medications that would support you. And sometimes he would say, but if you change your lifestyle, it would also help you. Okay. So where I come in
is bad if you change your lifestyle.
Because what the doctors are doing is often treating you and not necessarily restoring health. Okay. And the doctors would usually tell you to take care of your lifestyle because they are aware that that is what sustains health. But doctors are busy. They don't have time to support people. Moreover, you and I know, how often don't we know what we're supposed to do and yet we don't do it? Okay. So that's where health coaches come in.
Okay.
We hold your hand and we support you with information, because sometimes people don't even know how they got to where they were. And then we also help you with lifestyle changes. And so we help you set your goals. Once you've come to me and you've told me, oh, doctor says it's diabetes, okay, we figure out, what do you want? I don't set goals for you. It's for you to determine what you want. What does healthy mean to you at this stage? Maybe at this stage, healthy to you means there's a particular thing you want to be able to do. Maybe there's a specific amount of weight you would like to lose, you know, or maybe there's a number that you would like to reduce. Okay. And mine is to support you with knowledge as to what lifestyle actions have led to where you are, so that it helps you to understand what actions you need to take
to be able to restore
health, like your doctor told you. And then we set goals, and then we determine what you are able to do. It's your path, not mine. And so you determine that, oh, on this specific thing, this is how quickly I can go. I can do this much at this pace. And my job is to keep you accountable and help you to slowly make those behavioral changes in an enjoyable manner, because we're not doing quick fixes here. We're trying to get you to come up with a new lifestyle that supports your health. So no quick fixes, no gimmicks.
One step at a time.
A step at a time, sustainable behavioral change. And so what is enjoyable for you? Once we figure that out, I hold your hand and we work on it together.
So let's say, like, for me, I love my fufu.
Yes.
So now if I have to cut down on my fufu, how am I going to go through that journey? Because life without fufu can be boring, you know.
So like I said, I start with education, because education empowers you, so that I'm not giving you instructions.
You feel the need.
You decide on the strategy yourself. I don't decide your strategy for you. So I start with education. So can I educate you on something?
Yes, you can.
Would you like to know how one comes up with a lifestyle disease like those we mentioned? Okay. It all boils down to what scientists would call metabolic health. I'm going to try to be non-big scientific word, okay? We're going to use very, very basic vocabulary. And so forgive some of the examples I'm going to give, but I'm going to bring it down to earth, okay? So when we eat, first we chew. It goes through all the tubes. It gets digested, and then the nutrients get into our bloodstream. Okay. We're going to focus on carbohydrates and fats, because these are the key places where the challenges will start. Okay. Carbohydrates generally are any food that comes from plants is a carbohydrate. However, I know in our minds we only think of starchy things when we think carbohydrates, but carbohydrates are anything that comes from plants. They would mostly turn or would give us glucose at the end of the digestion process, okay? However, different kinds of food give you different levels of glucose, okay? So that's why your vegetables, for example, will give you very, very, very little, whilst your starchy tubers or your grains will give you more. Okay. So you eat something, carbohydrates. You chew well to start the digestive process. It goes down. It's digested. Glucose.
Sugar.
Okay. So people like to call it sugar. Yes. I don't want to use the word sugar.
That is basic.
Yes.
If you say glucose, I drew.
What can stem? You're right.
Yeah, drew. So let's be blunt.
When I say glucose, I'm referring to what people say sugar. Sugar na woni moja num na. Esitre no.
Because glucose say glucose, it's like it's normal.
Okay. Because I don't want people thinking that I'm only referring to them eating sugar.
Okay.
So they should please allow me to use the
It's
word
also
glucose.
drop it some kakra.
Yebeko enim kakra nti obi abesua one word.
Okay.
Nti ena yebesua glucose, and there's another important word that we're going to learn. Okay. Nti adani glucose, sugar, isitri ewe yemu. Glucose is amazing. It's a fuel. Your body, when God made us, He made 2 fuel systems for our body. We have the glucose system, we have the fat burning system. The 2 don't work at the same time. So you either, once you are eating food that has glucose, your glucose machine is on. When you stop eating for a while and there's no glucose, then it will switch to the fat burning machine. So once your glucose machine is on, you've eaten whatever you've eaten, it's now glucose. Now, glucose is amazing because that's what your muscles love for energy. So as we are sitting here, that you see how you're able to keep your posture, your muscles are, yes, it's because glucose is working. You are thinking, I'm speaking, glucose is fueling me, thank God. But the thing is that the muscles can't take up the glucose straight. Our body releases insulin. That's the second word I want us to keep. And it's the most important word I want us to keep today. Insulin. So your body will now release insulin. Insulin's job is like a chaperone. His job is to go and accompany glucose, knock on the door of your muscles, so that once your muscle says, hey, I'm low, give me some, it just opens the door. It's like it has a key. It opens the door, then it pushes glucose in. Okay? So it's like your muscles, like they have doors, receptors, they have doors, and the glucose goes through those doors. So as soon as you've eaten your food and there's glucose in your blood, insulin comes, then insulin will say, hey, glucose about, there's glucose everywhere. Who wants some? Who wants some? Then your muscles say, baby, give me some. Online, give me some. Your brain, give me some. I want some. So insulin goes, opens the door, pushes glucose in, pushes glucose in. And that's how every day we are walking about, we have the energy to do things. That's amazing. Now, when it's done doing that and there's still excess glucose, it's fine. God has created stores in your body. So if there's still glucose, yes, because your body doesn't want excess glucose in your blood. It doesn't want sugar in your blood. So once the muscle says they are full, there are stores. Insulin will go and push it in the stores. But the stores, they have their capacity. It's not a... So once it's full, if you still have excess blood, then now insulin will store, excess glucose. Insulin will store the excess glucose now as fats. You have fat cells, and insulin will just push the remaining there, and it becomes fat. So that's how we get fat. It's one of the means we get fat. And then every day that you're eating more glucose than your body needs, your muscles will take up. Some will be stored as glucogen, the rest will be stored as fat. And then the process continues every day. Okay? And then it gets to a point where those doors, where your muscles have been taking the glucose from, then now some fat starts blocking those doors. So when now you've eaten and there's glucose in your blood and your body wants that energy, when insulin is shouting, hey, there's glucose here, so it doesn't hear. Your muscles have become insulin resistant. They don't hear. Insulin will be shouting, it still doesn't hear. But your body doesn't want that sugar in your blood. So what does the body do? In God's wisdom, see, Charlie, let's release more insulin. This time, we won't just go and knock. If you're knocking and somebody's not hearing, what do?
You break the door.
You break the door. And now they are equipped, they are more. So they go, they get there, you are not hearing me, boom. It knocks down the door and it pushes the glucose in. Anything that is left into your glucose stores, the rest, fat. The process is continuing. You're building more fat. You're building more fat. That process continues until one day, your body says, I've secreted excess insulin. I'm tired. This is sometimes for people like 10 years, 15 years after the having to produce excess insulin started. And then at that point, your body says, okay, I'm tired, I can't produce excess insulin. Now what happens? You are there, you feel funny, you go to the hospital, they test your blood. Because your body didn't secrete excess insulin to go and break the door down, what's happening to the glucose in your blood? It's staying in your blood because there's nothing to push it into your muscle. And so when the doctor tests your blood, he goes like, your sugar is too high. But that process had started 10 to 15 years earlier, and your body had been working hard to compensate. And that's how you get diabetes.
Wow. This is actually the easiest breakdown. And I mean, like, the simplest.
Yes.
It's such a process. You think it's nothing. It felt like you were telling a story. But this is actually how diabetes starts.
That's how you put on weight, because you know the fat.
And you become a little bloated.
And then that's how you get diabetes. Now, when you have excess insulin in your blood, it stops. There's something that your arteries need, okay? It's called nitric oxide. When you have a lot of insulin in your blood, it doesn't allow your body to produce enough nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is what makes our arteries flexible for blood to flow. And so now your arteries are stiff. So with your stiff arteries, what will happen when your heart is trying to pump? And then Dr. Becker said, when your BP.
Wow.
Okay.
No, I believe we're going to have a very long conversation.
Yeah.
Because this breakdown is so simple.
Yes.
It's so easy.
Yes.
That you don't need medical terms to explain and understand. This is so basic. So we'll take a break. Okay. When we come back, we'll delve more into it. Because I'm sure a lot of people are so glued to their sets trying to listen to the next level of the conversation. We'll be right after this break.
Ofe Phrygia, jodi beshem bia pepo ho ban. Nanso antwe wanyam kania. How ho enoa high sense. High sense na high energy efficiency standard for anyone sa shase. Eno kire say ekuli pa and say nyam kania. Na banefeso we dead there. Every single door efe. Side by side, I must so any cross door nyina. High sense wo Phrygia sene fata wo. Me change you here ni bi at the mouth. Say your vegetables, or drinks, one nam, the way diamana no. High sense long lasting cooling no. And mania fresh and bribia. A 28 April, a copy 8 May. And a high sense refrigerator promo. So high sense fridge, never fear your gum. High sense, everyday prices for everyday people.
Hisense fridge, very stylish.
Tasty Tom tomato mix. Ofa kakra. Na ye bebre. Fa kakra yan kwan stew dodo a ope.
Tasty Tom dear, it will surely give you value for money. Steak and little is enough to get our desired quantity of stew and soup, and it doesn't color your meat or chicken.
Tasty Tom tomato mix in tea. Me handwriting and sada. Sena ne dene dia sa net into customers bar never.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix.
This advert is FDA approved.
Remember the days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month? Yas Extra Long Sanitary Pad took the worry away. Easy.
Yas comfort, I got Yas confidence, I got Yas.
The new Yas Extra Long Sanitary Pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi. Is it supposed to be that time of the month?
Yes. I got yes confidence. I got
yes.
We got yes protection. I got
Yes Extra Long Sanitary Pad for extra comfort.
We got yes protection.
Hey, my best customers in here. Yes, baby.
Honey, men wash you why to take away aba.
He's eating out again. Not saying me Johnny tasting kuyi. Nya kra. Mommy ma new fella.
Tasty Tom seasoning powder.
Tasty Tom. Add the new seasoning powders about chicken, stew, jollof, shrimp, beef. Udi Adriani anete. A more natural aroma. Shamankasa. The way it enhances the natural aroma. It no be small. So what's the new seasoning powder if it Tasty Tom here? I trust them. And there is no staining of fish, meat, or chicken. Delicious meals all the time. Why do you go just me need those.
Tasty Tom seasoning powder. Ooh.
New aroma.
New taste.
This is a new taste from Tasty Tom new seasoning powder. Maybe I'm not for anyway. Tasty Tom new seasoning powder. Flavor and taste are. This advert is FDA approved.
Every child is so unique.
You like no other.
Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play,
You like no other.
you are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. It's you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Every child is so unique.
You like no other.
Outstanding in every way.
It's me like no other.
So anytime you walk and play,
You like no other.
you are special like Indomie.
It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. It's you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Wait, your tomato mix. Wouldn't so one on pass. Still loud. What tomato flavor no? No color changing like traffic lights. Cocoa, come on.
Tasty Tom dear, it will surely give you value for money. The steak and little is enough to get our desired quantity of stew and soup.
Taste no so dear. On point. Flavor new.
And it doesn't color your meat or chicken. I don't compromise on the quality of my food. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. I know a lot of you do not even want the commercials to roll because what we're talking about is pretty serious. It's something we take for granted as Ghanaians. So with everything you're saying, a healthy lifestyle is not just about being sick or not being sick, right?
Exactly. So a lot of people think that they are healthy because they are not sick. But the fact that a doctor hasn't diagnosed you with a particular disease doesn't mean you're
You cannot
healthy.
be sick or you're not.
It doesn't mean you're healthy. The question is, do you feel well?
Okay.
Do you feel well physically, mentally, emotionally? Do you feel well? So the fact that you don't have diabetes, you don't have high blood pressure, but you're not sleeping, or there's a consistent, unease you feel somewhere, could be a sign that you're not healthy.
Okay.
And so we want to look beyond disease and focus on wellness and feeling well. And that's where I wish Ghanaians would want to get to and not necessarily always wait until they have a diagnosis. Because lifestyle diseases are preventable. They are called lifestyle diseases because they are created by lifestyle. And so if you find the appropriate lifestyle that doesn't support the disease but supports health, then you'll be healthy.
You spoke about erectile dysfunction.
Yes, I mentioned that one too.
Yes, and I am pretty surprised. How does that come along?
Okay. So, to our men now, I know it's a topic that's very interesting for many men and very important for many men
Those
and women as
sensitive,
well, those sensitive. So you remember we mentioned that insulin's job is to accompany glucose to the muscle, to the brain, so that it can actually open the door and feed it in.
Yeah.
Insulin is an amazing hormone. It does more than that. One of insulin's job is to signal the blood vessels of a man that be ready and start expanding because there's a lot of blood about to flow through. And so the blood vessels need to hear insulin say, Jack, open up. Gargantuan blood flow coming through. You know, unfortunately, when you keep having too much insulin in your system over time, like I said, your cells become resistant to insulin. They don't hear insulin anymore. And so it gets to a point where those blood vessels don't hear insulin when it says, Jack,
open the door.
Open the door. There's massive blood flow on the way. It just doesn't hear it. And so in the circumstance where a man is having a physical encounter with a woman and he knows from here
From upstairs
that he is getting ready and he is ready, he realizes that the other part is not responding. And it's all because of insulin resistance.
Wow.
So the same process that causes obesity or weight gain is the same process which, if unchecked, would cause high blood pressure. Same process, if unchecked, will cause diabetes. Same process, if unchecked, could cause erectile dysfunction. And in this whole story, glucose is not the only culprit. There is also fats, but not the good fats. Like we've got fats from vegetables, like your avocados, your nuts, etc. Not those ones from your palm, not those ones. The problem is the bad fats, which are the processed fats, the highly processed fats. How do I explain what that is? I used to call it supermarket fats, but I don't want to call it supermarket fats. I would say
the junk fats.
I would have said factory fats, but these days we even have factories doing cold pressed, healthy fats. But what I mean is fats that has been transformed from its natural fat state into a different state. So, for example, when you walk into a supermarket, there's lots of yellow oils that you see, which, for example, are palm oils. But they've been bleached and deodorized, and so they look yellow and they don't smell like palm oil.
No, now you've made it so unpleasant. Bleached?
Yes.
And deodorized.
Oh, and by the way, those are not my words. It's on the label.
Okay.
It's on the label. The next time you're buying some popular brands of oil, please read the label. And so whenever you eat a lot of those bad fats, or like margarine, which is supposed to be a plant-based fat, but unfortunately, it's been so highly processed that what it's become is a product that is highly unhealthy. And so those fats would go and start storing in your fat cells, including the cells of your muscles, where glucose would want to go. Exactly. In our Ghanaian diets, I would say that unfortunately for us, these days, we eat a lot of highly processed fats, and we also eat a lot of, we would often eat more carbohydrates than we need to. And so when you put this together, you now see the formula that is creating the lifestyle diseases that we find around us. So let me give you a real-time example. Wake up in the morning, and then you make a beverage, which has, I'm not going to mention brands, yes. So you make a beverage with lots of sugar, and the sugar is processed. And then you would sometimes add bread, which is made from...
You're making us feel guilty.
From processed, highly processed wheat.
You fry
and
eggs.
Then you fry your eggs with highly processed oils.
You fry your sausage.
You fry your sausage, which itself is a highly processed meat.
Hash brown.
Okay.
Okay, so that is my breakfast.
Okay. So you have this for breakfast. You've had it in. It's been digested. Lots of glucose now in your blood. Lots of sugar in your blood. It's fine. Insulin is there to take care of it. Insulin has been released and it's working on it. Okay. And then, so insulin is working. Insulin is trying to push. And insulin, you know, your body wants to make sure that you don't have excess blood in your glucose. So insulin doesn't just go back. It stays around for a bit. But insulin is still working. You had that breakfast at what time?
Let's say 9.
9 o'clock, okay. Insulin is working. And then, let me go back small. Let's say you had it at 8. Okay. And then at 10, you were in traffic. And then you saw, what? Bullfruit. Nkati cake. Yes, Kati cake. Insulin is still working on what you gave it in the morning and it's not done.
And it's been just 2 hours interval.
And then you now have your Kati cake.
Which is nuts with sugar.
Good nuts, but with sugar. Highly processed sugar.
Melted sugar.
Okay. And so now, even more glucose in. Maybe insulin was done pushing whatever it had to push in your muscles. It may have stored some in your stores and may have pushed some as fats. Now this one has come in. If your muscles don't need more because all you've done is to walk from your door into the car. So you've not really even used up the energy. You're adding the Nkati cake. As soon as that excess glucose comes in, what is insulin going to do with it? Fat stores, please. And then it's 12:30. It's time to have lunch.
Jollof rice.
Ghana jollof, the best jollof in the world.
Yeah. Or fufu and a puncheon cracker.
Good. So your white processed rice with chicken, which was fried in
and
highly processed oils, and a Ghanaian salad,
which has eggs, tuna, corned beef,
the corned beef, the sardine, and some oil in there,
and some mayonnaise, and some ketchup.
Thank you. So insulin is still there.
Some sweet corn, baked beans, complete.
Insulin is still working.
Okay.
It's still working.
And it's just been a 2-hour interval.
Again. And then now it's 2 or 3 and the bullfruits, the hot bullfruits there. And also the time also. Insulin has still not even gone to sleep. It's still high. And then in the evening, you get home late. Insulin works like the sun. It's up around the time that the sun is up. It sleeps around the time the sun goes to sleep. So by around 6 p.m., insulin is going to sleep. But you're now having your favorite, what is that one? What would you have for dinner?
I'm not a dinner person.
Okay.
So mostly if I do 4,
Yes.
maybe 4 p.m.,
You're
latest
done.
5, I'm done.
That's great.
Maybe tea, black tea without sugar in the
Okay.
night. Yeah.
So that's fine. But some people will still have a heavy dinner at 8. And so just imagine what's happening to insulin here. And the next day, thank God, we have the nights to sleep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would keep eating the whole night.
It's true.
So whilst you're sleeping at night, insulin gets some rest, and the next morning you start
Back
again.
to work.
And we do that for years.
And it still has some in storage because I'm sure maybe at 9 p.m. you ate. So it comes back with some excess that it has to work on before it even begins the day's digestion. Wow. It's a backlog.
So this is how we come back. We come by our lifestyle diseases.
You see, we all know that a lot of things can be prevented. And prevention is always better than cure. Like you said, you don't need to wait to feel sick to be up on your toes. So looking at everything that you have discussed, can anyone just come to you and go like, hey, Eunice, I feel great emotionally, physically, everythingly, but I just want to begin to have a lifestyle that is healthy, so I don't go on that line you were discussing.
Yes, and that's what I actually encourage, because remember I said that insulin, you would have been insulin resistant for sometimes 10 years, 15 years before the doctor tells you you've got diabetes. And so it's good you come early to know what to do to prevent that from happening. It may already be happening without you knowing it.
Okay.
And once you start doing the right things, your body on its own would be restoring its health.
Okay.
You see.
Now, if you look at children, we have kids having diabetes at a very young age. Is there a plan you can have for a family that is easy on the kids so that at least we know that it's not just about mommy or daddy being healthy, but it's something that is a family routine? So children can grow up knowing that, hey, we need to maintain this routine and take good care of ourselves.
Yes. So what applies to adults don't necessarily, how do I put it? Not all lifestyle interventions that an adult who is unwell would take would apply to a child, because they are growing and they are really growing fast. So I would outline some of the things adults can do later. But definitely, generally, what we'll say is that the problem for most children these days is the sweets, the fizzy drinks, the toffees. A lot of children every single day as snacks are given highly refined drinks that have lots of sugar in them. And so they're drinking it every single day. And that is on top of the toffees that they're eating, and the chocolate bars and the biscuits, etc.
Yeah. That's why I always recommend Malta Guinness, because it's not sugar saturated. It's rich in vitamins, and the B vitamins alone keeps you going and you're nourished throughout the day. And it's not fizzy. That's one thing I keep telling my viewers.
So, a general rule of thumb, before, I'll say this before we even dive into what you do. A general rule of thumb when it comes to food, even for children, is whole foods. Whole foods. Is the child eating whole foods? Before you even start looking at quantities, is your child eating whole foods? And so your child would be, if your child is eating whole foods and still putting on a lot of weight, then you start looking at other things. But quite often, it would be because they are not eating whole foods.
If you say whole foods, what do you mean by whole foods?
Okay. So now we're starting to look at what we do for our health. A whole food, I'll say, is food as close as possible as God made it. The closer you are to the way God made it, the more whole it is. So it starts with as you've plucked or as you've harvested, can you have it that way? If it's a fruit or if it's a vegetable, can you have it that way? If you can,
without going through any process.
and if you can have it raw, can you cook it? Cooking is very minimal processing, and there are some foods that you cannot eat without cooking. Okay. So generally cooking is not considered like a process, a high processing. Sometimes even things like blending, someone would say it's processed, but you still have everything in there.
It's natural
even though it's broken it up, but you still have everything in there. The problem starts to happen when you start playing with what God has made and the way He's made it, and you start taking components off and sometimes adding other components in. That's where the problem starts. So you have your rice, and the rice comes in a very healthy, fiber-rich covering, which you choose to take off because the rice tastes sweeter and is more addictive once that is done. Or you have wheat, but you choose to take the protective, healthy, fiber-rich shell off, just to also give it a taste that is nicer and addictive. Or like I said, you have your palm oil, but you take it through a process that makes it more attractive and take the smell off, and now it looks very yellow in a bottle, And so that's what I would say is whole foods, as close as possible to the way God made it. So if you walked into a supermarket, it would be usually the first section where you have all the fresh foods, and most of the other sides where it's packaged. Not all the time, but most of the times when it's packaged, it will tend to be unhealthy. And that's where we are fortunate as Ghanaians, because when you go into our markets, we have foods really in their whole states. And our Ghanaian dishes are such that if we stuck to our Ghanaian dishes, then we often would be eating whole food. Because what are you eating? Is it the kontomire abum with a little bit of palm oil on top? Is it the yam that you just peeled and boiled? Is it the okra stew? Is it, what else do we have? Are you making the wache the way we used to make it, where it's about the beans and it's not about the rice? And then what rice are you using? Are you using whole rice?
Now, it's like, this conversation is getting interesting.
Yes.
I think we have to continue again next week, because there are so many questions I still have for you, and I'm sure those of us watching at home would also want to ask certain questions. So I would plead with you, can we have a part 2 of this conversation?
Let's do that.
Okay. So next week, we're coming back to have this conversation with Eunice, because I have a lot of questions to ask when it comes to how we live and how we can live better. And when you're healthy, then you know that longevity is assured if we are actually living life by health. So next week, please don't miss Restoration, because we need to really break it down so all of us can benefit from it. So I want to say a very big thank you to our sponsors, Malta Guinness, Tasty Tom Enriched Tomato Mix, High Sense, Yaz Washing Powder, and Yaz Sanitary Pad, Hooch Corn and Choco Flakes. Big thank you to ABS Lax Line, GH Beauty Artistry, Tinaj Beauty, of course, Hair Duties. Thank you very much. And for all of you watching us at home, all over the world, thank you for always sticking with us. Always to remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. We'll see you next week.